This is a reading for today from Essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Uh, this is from the chapter Freedom Through Inner Renunciation, 5.11. For purification of the ego, yogis merely work with the body, mind, discrimination, and sense organs. They are never attached to them. Short one, so I'll read it one more time. For purification of the ego, yogis merely work with the body, mind, discrimination, and sense organs. They are never attached to them. So this reading sort of goes very well. I think some of you probably were present last Sunday where Dr. Aditya talked about egotism and egoism. Like when we talk about purification of ego, and that word doesn't really have a very positive connotation, isn't it? Even without even considering spirituality, we don't consider people with a lot of ego with high respect, isn't it? But the ego that Swami Ji here is talking about purifying is a little different. We are, as Doctor was saying, we're not bad people here. We are all good. We're all kind, isn't it? But then there is still something there relevant to this reading for all of us. And that's why we have to look at that ego with a very different connotation, not just the way like, I am the best person here, you guys just look down, not that kind of ego. So then what is ego? So for that first, if I ask the questions, who are we? Who are all of you? What is the answer we generally give? Who are you? We are the soul, isn't it? Yeah, that's the very correct answer. Book says that, and in some our experiences, probably we have some glimpses of it. Now, what is the definition of ego that Yogananda ji gave us? That's right. He also starts with soul. He accepts the reality that we are all souls. And then what he says, ego is soul identified with the body. So what is the problem? The problem isn't about your soul is given, but the problem is with the identification. Identification with the body, as the reading was saying, our mind, our sense organs, and even our own intellect. The more, if the soul gets attached to that attachment is the problem. And do we think it's a problem? Is it our experience at times? I'll share our own personal story. It was funny when we were doing energization exercise, and Amruta was leading it. And then when it came to spinal twisting, both me and Dr. Aditya had a smile on our face. You know why? Because yesterday we went to Khandala to play cricket with some guys from Mumbai and from Pune. And I played any outdoor sport after a decade. While I used to like it, while my body actually forgot how it felt, and then all the muscles, now I realize that there's so many different muscles which probably just dormant all that decade. And now everyone is making sound and they're complaining. So especially when it came to twisting the body, I said, no, we're not doing that today. And there was like a big no I heard from my body, and I think from him too, and that's why there was this smile, okay, very gentle twist. What was that meant? We use this term like if you ask like, I'm very tired, isn't it? Who was that speaking? We talked about, is it soul speaking? Yes. But then what is that identification? That's the body, isn't it? When we say we were doing that exercise, there was a big no. Was the soul resistant? No, as the answer was coming from our body. My sister, she's also like physically like me, not very big or anything. And then she understood this trait in herself that whenever she's hungry, she will become angry. So she warned everyone once she understood that trait that when it's the food time, either we eat now, but there's no discussion happening at that time. And then at times we actually have to do something like that, but then she would get angry. Who was speaking then? Is it the soul speaking, or probably that hunger? The body was speaking, isn't it? We talked about mind, and we say like, I'm restless. Most of the time when we refer to that, what are we referring to? We're referring to the restlessness of the mind. And at that time, when we are feeling that restlessness, if someone asks us a question, what is our normal response? Quite not a very positive response, isn't it? Because who is answering that question? It is the restless mind answering that question, isn't it? So what is the problem with this attachment? There is no problem in other than we just stopped soul. That's what we started with our definition from responding. Now, I'm saying that yes, there's a lot of pain in my body, but let's say, God forbid, he was talking also in Sunday about a great cataclysm coming. Let's say all of a sudden at this very moment, some earth-shattering thing happens, while everybody is going down some earthquake or something. You are running. Will I say, no, I have too much pain, I'll rather stay? No. I will gather the thing and I'll start running, and probably I will help also those who cannot run, isn't it? So it's possible. It is possible, even whatever these other entities are doing, to gather that courage. One may say, what's the big deal? You have tired your body, you have mind which is active at the moment, just give it a rest, which is true, isn't it? What is the problem then? Problem is this chatter is constant. When the body will rested, she will have some other desires. When the mind, does the mind chatter, or is it only me? No, there is always commentary going on. The senses, they want to see something. There is a place for curiosity, but stop, isn't it? So that we can listen to something more. For me, again, so are we going to wait for some cataclysm to go so that we can gather that someone and say, I'm not going to look at you, or we look at something else? Master said when he was asked about himself, he said, I have killed Yogananda long time ago. What resides in this body is God. Now when he talked about killing, we don't know actually what he meant. But I ask you, reflect to yourself, replace that word Yogananda by your own name. What is it that he was talking about killing? If he says, I want to kill Amit, so that God can decide what is it that we are going to cut. And that are those attachments, Who is the wise counsel at this moment today? It is my body. And that's why any question, let's go here, what is the answer going to come? No, I can't. Why? Because my biggest counsel, the wisest one at the moment, is this fragile body. The moment, though, we understand that, that's the first stage. Swami Kriyananda and Master both talked about free will. There's a lot of talk about that, how much free will we have. And finally, both of them concluded that there is not much. The only free will we have is to turn towards God or away from God. And when I heard that, I was quite disappointed also. I was like, there has to be more than that. Come on. This is just, wow, there's so many more things. But now, let's assume that that's the truth. We talk about this attachment, we talk about this chatter. The needs of the body, the chatter from the mind, the chatter from the senses. Is it like a morning, evening activity? Or is it going throughout the day? Throughout the day. And then, that's what now Master and Swami is saying, while this going on throughout the day, and we know it is going out throughout the day, we have a choice. And what is that choice? We listen to that chatter, or we look elsewhere. We kill that attachment and start looking elsewhere. Our first meditation technique that we teach, Hong Saw technique, what are we trying to do? We're trying to focus on our breath. What happens then? Mind has this way of pulling us back to something. Many times I've realized that half an hour gone and a thought has taken me all the way somewhere into the Baudan or some meditation. So like, what happened? Because there's always that, yes, let's go. Breath can wait, isn't it? And that is the tendency we try to break. This is nothing like break. And that is, whenever we get attached, that is our identification with the ego. Good part is the first thing, and that's why we say it doesn't matter. The moment you catch it, it is a victory. The more we catch it. Yogananda also said that practice this technique throughout the day, meaning throughout the day just look at yourself. Who is speaking at the moment? Who is saying yes or no? Is it the body? Is it the mind? Is it the senses? Or is it the soul? Who is going to run this chariot? Our brahmacharis, Jamal and Devendra, I think one of them told this story. I don't quite know, so I'm going to paraphrase that. So they wanted to do this exercise. This was the time when they probably were doing some intense activity. So meaning lots of work and then lots of people giving them all like cross direction, so they have to still stay centered and get things done. But they were enthusiastic, so they wanted to make sure that they are not getting bogged down and staying centered. So they said, we'll keep an eye on each other. Of course, they were keeping an eye on themselves, but if you see the other person bogging down, then you just sort of, these were their keywords, like, how is the lotus Baba? Meaning like the heart's lotus. It is like sort of murjha hua lotus ho gaya hai, or we have a capacity to just bring it up. And so that's what they will do. Like Jamal was walking and then something was just bogging down. And Devendra ji just says, how is the lotus Baba? And Jamal, almost caught it, isn't it? And these are the tricks that the mind and all these things play on us. But this is a beautiful exercise and also a power of helping each other. Why did Swami Kriyananda ji started these communities? Because Yogananda ji asked him to. Yogananda ji wanted spiritual communities. Why? So that we can have a good time? Yes, of course, in our own ways. But more importantly, so that we can help each other in this way. Many of the people at Ananda, if you see their signature, they write like in divine friendship. There has to be a difference between a friendship, which is we understand on a human to human level, and a divine friendship. Devendra didn't go to Jamal and gave him like a hug and said, it's okay, brother. I'm sure he has done it sometimes. But more importantly, he just pointed out, don't go for the trap. Don't go for the trap. Circumstances are not in our hands. Just don't worry about them anymore. What is in your hand is keep that lotus uplifted no matter what. So we look at each other from that angle. We don't just caress and say, it's okay, we're family, tomorrow will be a better day. Now has to be a better day. Now is the better moment. Because now is the choice where we can choose towards God or away from God. And that is why we are in this community. And then the very beautiful title this chapter has, which is from where I took this verse, it is the purpose of this community is freedom, nothing less. Because in that freedom, everything else gets taken care of. As we join this path together, walk this path together, and try to light this fire within our hearts and everyone else's, and also fuel them, as we gather this together, fuel that fire. Because this fire has the capacity to burn those ties, burn our ignorance, burn our delusions, and bring that clarity and wisdom that we all seek. Joy to you.